The movie opens with a text stating that before the onset of mankind, other civilizations across the universe had attempted to journey into space. On the planet Somaris, a pilot named Mills is with his wife, as they watch their daughter Navine playing on the beach. Mills is set to venture on a 2-year mission with other passengers in the hope of finding a cure for an illness that Navine is suffering from. Navine is trying to whistle but is having trouble doing so, so Mills shows her his own technique. Sometime into the mission, Mills is commandeering his ship when he comes across an asteroid belt. The ship is hit with chunks of smaller asteroids, causing severe damage to the ship and sending it hurtling toward Earth. Mills rushes to the cockpit and sends an emergency signal while guiding the ship to land on the closest planet. Mills crashes in a swamp, with all of the other passengers getting killed after being thrown from the ship. He thinks about his daughter before losing consciousness. After a while, he regained consciousness, hearing the computer say the ship is on an uncharted territory. He also finds a piece of metal stuck in his body, which he removes on his own and cauterizes his wound. Mills sends out an SOS message and begins to survey the environment, discovering that the air is breathable. After checking the whole ship, he realizes that the ship's cryo chamber is compromised and escape pods are on the other half of the ship that has landed somewhere else during the crash. He then leaves the ship with a laser gun and starts walking through a pool of water, where he finds a mysterious creature swimming around him. He also finds the dead bodies of his crew. Devastated and hopeless, he grabs his gun to kill himself, but memories of her daughter stops him from doing it. He starts seeing all the tapes Navine has been sending him, when suddenly, the computer detects a working capsule nearby. Mills rushes to the location and finds one survivor in cryostasis, a young girl. As he carries her to safety, he spots a gigantic clawed footprint in the mud. More text appears saying that, 65 million years ago, a mysterious visitor arrived on Earth. The next morning, determined to save the girl, Mills continues to check out the environment and discovers huge bones indicating to the presence of deadly predators. He also accidentally hit by a geyser blast. Then he sees something shining at the mountain, and realizes that it is actually the other half of the ship. While planning on how to get to the ship, Mills is attacked by a raptor, but after a small struggle, he manages to beat it to death. Meanwhile, he hears some strange noises, and upon checking he finds the girl hiding behind the bushes, who starts running after seeing him. Mills runs after her, convincing her to go back to the ship with him. They both fall down the ledge where they see a big dinosaur approaching them. Mills brings the girl to the ship to tend to her wound, learning her name is Koa and that she does not speak English, save for a few words. Mills spreads the red powder on the table and draws a mountain to tell her that they must go there to escape. He lies to Koa that they are going to find her family on the mountain. Before they venture off, Koa watches video logs that Mills received from Navine during his voyage. They are initially lighthearted, but she appeared to grow angry and distressed by her father's absence. Before the last video Koa sees is Navine saying that she is very tired. Mills turns the video off and they get moving. On their trek to the mountain, Koa sees a small dinosaur stuck in mud. Mills reluctantly helps her pull the dino out, but moments later, a pack of predator dinos comes out and fatally maul the little dinosaur, causing Koa to cry. Mills looks up to the sky and sees what looks like a bright object heading toward the planet. As they continue walking, Mills and Koa begin to slowly bond. Mills sets up security monitors, one of which goes off as Koa is sleeping when a parasitic creature goes into her mouth. Mills manages to kill the parasite and save Koa. Soon after, a gigantic predator dinosaur appears and attempts to attack them. Mills shoots it in the face, but it attempts to enter the cave. Mills and Koa drop down a hole to get to safety. In the hole, Mills tries to find a way out. Koa pulls out a video log from Navine that she took, which Mills is upset for at first, but he then plays it, although he is too distraught to look at it. Then tries to dig out of the cave before using a small bomb to blow a hole through it. While crawling out of there, unfortunately the hole collapses and Mills and Koa are separated. Mills finds himself trapped and screams in frustration. Koa makes the whistling sound she learned to let Mills know she is fine. Koa manages to get out of the cave and finds a huge bone as she explores the forest. Minutes later, Mills also gets out of the cave and sees a bright object in the sky and uses his device to scan it. His computer tells him that it is an asteroid that is set to have a catastrophic impact on Earth in roughly 12 hours. Mills immediately starts looking for Koa and hears her screaming after she is approached by a dinosaur. Koa hides inside a tree trunk while Mills falls into some quicksand while running in her direction. He calls out for Koa, until he sinks completely. Koa hears him and quickly gets out of the trunk after bombing the dinosaur. She manages to grab a long branch and helps Mills to get out of the quicksand. The duo reunites with an emotional hug and then Mills shows her the meteorite, explaining they have to make a run for the last few miles. The two make it to the top of the mountain. Mills ties a rope around Koa and tells her to climb first. Koa ties the rope in a very smart way around rocks and trees so that it will hold up the Mills' weight as he climbs up. Mills turns on the ship's computer and finds that a rescue ship is on its way to save them. Koa goes on to look for her family but becomes distraught after finding the bodies of her parents dead in the destroyed cryopods. She gets angry with Mills for lying to her, but he calms her down after trying to explain that he went through the same thing since Navine died months ago during the mission, and his last memory of her is her being angry with him for not being there for her. He apologizes to Koa and vows to get them out of there. As they try to start their escape pod, a piece of meteorite hits the ship and it falls further down the mountain and gets disabled. Two T-Rexes approach them and begin to attack. Mills fights them off while Koa stays in the ship, waiting for it to go back online. Mills shoots them both dead, but the cave dinosaur from earlier returns to finish Mills off. He runs toward a geyser to try and get it killed, but Koa arrives to help by stabbing the beast in the eye. The geyser then erupts and melts the dinosaur's face off. Mills and Koa make it back to the operational ship in time, mere moments before the asteroid makes its impact and decimates the dinosaurs on Earth. The two exit Earth's atmosphere, and the autopilot guides them to the meeting point of the rescue vessel. The credits show Earth redeveloping over time until it reaches its modern civilization. This is Movie Breakdown. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.